this one, where we try to define what's going on here and how to find the failing bull flag formations. You know, we've been in this type of market where every time you see a bull flag, it just about, even though some failed, most of them worked, you're in a position now where a lot of things can go wrong with these bull flag formations, especially in a market like this. We talked about 87.20. That was my upper end target today of the triple Qs. We hit 87.14 at the moment. I am indeed looking to short this bullish market, and I'm very excited to do so. So I'm just going to move my positions away for a moment so we could see this whole picture. And I do want to talk about how to find a failing bull flag formation. And there are certain keys and certain parameters. And I went back and I was looking at some of the other names and whatnot from other failed bull flag formations. And there was something that I've noticed that not all of the failed bull flag formations had. However, 100% of them that followed these rules that I listed did indeed work and go down and failed. So we're going to talk about how to find a failing bull flag formation. And I broke it down into 3 easy steps. I hope this chart doesn't look too confusing to you guys. But step 1 is we're looking for the break of an ascending resistance line. A lot of bull flags have done this in the past where you get this increased elevation as the ascending resistance line was broken. And if you look right over here on the step 1, you see the line that this green bar broke right over here. And the thing is, when that happens and you do have elevated volume, if you draw an ascending resistance correctly, based on my methodologies, you have no choice but to have a volume explosion in order to break the ascending resistance line. That is exactly what happened on ISRG right as the month began. We went up for a couple days, and then what happened is we dropped just one of those days, retracing around half of those bars worth of gains from earlier. So the first thing you need to do is you need to find an ascending resistance level. This is what I like to call stocks that are overbought. You know, for me, a stock breaking descending support is oversold, and a stock breaking ascending resistance is overbought. They actually overbought this Intuitive Surgical back in early April. They pushed it up. I didn't short it when it was, you know, breaking through 490 the first time. I didn't short it when it popped to 520. It doesn't really matter when I did or did not short it. The point is, when should have you shorted it? Should have been that first red bar day. What you do see is you do have high volume confirmation, step 2, once you found the break of ascending resistance. High volume confirmation basically confirms that you indeed did draw your ascending resistance line correctly. I mean, so many people draw these lines, it's like, how do I know which one is good and which one isn't? This is how you tell. Basically, what I am saying is when ISRG broke that ascending resistance line, at that very moment as the day it was going through day highs trying to break that level, that's when the volume came into ISRG. And you did have a follow through to the upside. I've went on the net, I've went on the internet, and I've looked up breaks of ascending resistance lines. I found 8 different articles, each one of the authors calling it bullish, extremely bullish, and something that you need to buy. Now, had you bought ISRG right away off of that, it would have worked. However, the down move was definitely much sexier, if you will, than the up move. And this has nothing to do with the fact that ISRG disappointed in earnings. I mean, we're talking earnings aside here. I think the stock could have gotten to 480 to 460 without earnings. We bounced up to 460, 192 today. And it was just a very interesting chart. So the very easy, when you see a bull flag formation, besides for you needing to know what a bull flag is, you need to find the break of ascending resistance. So that happens, step 1. Step 2 is confirming that you broke an ascending resistance line by just simply looking at the volume. You want at least twice to three times or more volume than the prior day when you're breaking an ascending resistance. You clearly got that and much more when ISRG did indeed break up. And here is the third step. You want the bull flag digestive pattern to have an increase in volume when the day is red. On the first red bar that ISRG is putting in, if you have an increase of volume, which you see that red bar trumped the prior day's volume, that is a sign of bearishness. That was the day we should have just went ahead and opened up short. Now, don't get me wrong. That position could have gone 6, 7, 8 points against you, 9 points against you the next day before eventually heading lower and paying you off and then breaking down again and, of course, getting the tremendous gap down here this morning. So in terms of the daily, I mean, you could look at your entries into these positions on 5-minute charts and you could draw resistance levels and wait to short it on a resistance level as opposed to chasing it down. But this is the type of formation where I have seen bull flags fail before. I was looking at a lot of older formations that don't really pan out today, formations that already resolved. And I was looking at the market in that step two. And what I noticed is when the market is breaking under support levels, much like the triple Qs have done recently, when the market breaks down underneath those support levels, the probability of this is extremely high. My data has shown it's 100% over maybe 8 or 9 samples. I am sure nothing is 100%, but just rest assured it's a very, very high rate of probability here. And it was very exciting for me to look at this ISRG. I mean, forget about today's move. Even the down move in the prior 2 days was a very easy move to capitalize on. And what you look for is you look for the stock to get back below the ascending resistance line that broke. It is a very simple chart pattern. You notice the bull flag digestive pattern had an increase in volume. This insinuates the high probability to pull in towards the ascending resistance line, which is now acting as obviously support. So the stock was overbought, did come in, and what I'm telling you in the future is there's a clear technical sign for when we could read these bull flags failing. It was a very simple webcast presentation. And do any of you guys have any questions? I hope you guys enjoyed the live webcast presentation. I know I'm keeping it short and sweet. If any of you guys have any questions of this formation, now would be the time to ask. If any of you guys have stocks you would like broken down, now would be the time to ask. But it's just a very simple, I'm going to be posting this on the website. Don't worry, you can have a copy. You could literally have a copy of this file where you double click it and it just shows you this. You know, formations like this are very bearish. It's a very rare formation to find, but in a market like this, after you break ascending support, a lot of the bullish names that aren't going to get followed through. You see some of the bullish names like First Solar and all these other names that are still going up regardless of the market pulling in. How do you know if these stocks are ready to pull down? Now, nothing is 100%, of course, but when you're able to see the elevated volume on the digestive pattern with the red bar, not with the green bar, I'm saying don't short ISRG at $530. Don't short ISRG at $540. But when it pulled down to the 510s and it showed you that red bar with the high volume, that was the conviction to short it. That was the conviction to get in. And noticing this thing and looking at it and now, you know, understanding it, in the future, if I see anything like ISRG, it's going to insinuate a high probability to the short side. Again, there was a wonderful move to capitalize on before today. Forget about today's move. Forget about it completely. Look at the prior 2 days of how that flag continued down. And then look what happened yesterday. You got another increase in volume after digesting the prior day before. And if you look at that ISRG daily, it would again insinuate a high probability of a short. Granted, there was earnings. Granted, the bad earnings made it this bad for ISRG, but what I'm saying is 30 of those points were could have been easily capitalized on without this gap down today. And of course, with the gap down today, you could have made, 80 points or so. But, besides for, ridiculous things like that, there is an easy way to read them, and there is a way for us to capitalize. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed the live webcast presentation.